Lot to get into today, folks. Danielle Smith has been everywhere in the internet. She's going viral and going way off on Mark Carney and the Liberals. Maxime Bernier earlier goes on to PBD, says Pierre Poillievre is conservative by name only. And lastly, Pierre has another awesome press conference, and we're going to show some key points that he addresses today on Niagara Due North. Good afternoon, folks. I'm your host, Parmesan, and welcome to Niagara Due North, where we give you the hottest takes on Canadian politics. You can count on me to give you the hottest takes every single day of this election process. I will take you through all of the analysis of every candidate every single day. So hit that like button down below, folks, so I can give you everything you need to know. Maxime Bernier, Mr. Split Vote, goes on PBD. He goes and calls Pierre conservative by name only. But get this, not even 10,000 people watch this podcast. And PBD averages a good 20 to 30,000. This was a very low viewed podcast. So I don't think the conservatives have much to worry about going on about this. But let's get you into that clip, folks.
Goes on. That's why in Canada it's very different than America. So Nikki Haley didn't want to go. These guys didn't want to go. They thought they were above it. And when I called out Pierre, a lot of Canadians says, you don't understand. If he goes on a conservative podcast, what the left is going to do, the left is going to attack him if he goes on Rogan, if he goes on this, he goes on. That's why in Canada it's very different than America. So walk me through the fear that conservatives have in Canada being so frightened of liberals holding them hostage.
You know, Poillievre and the conservative, and I said that long time ago, that they're conservative in name only. They're the Reno Canadians. Conservative in name only. They're afraid. Why? Because also in Canada, we are mainstream media, Radio-Canada in French, CTV.
Watch as Maxime Bernier says absolutely nothing more in relation to the conservatives, in relation to Pierre Poillievre being conservative by name only. Watch.
They are all leftist. So, and actually, we don't have a Fox News in Canada on the other side. So, for me, the Canadian population has been manipulated by the leftist media. So, Poillievre is afraid of the reaction coming from the leftist media. But, you know, he must understand, as a politician, we are in 2025, and the future is with independent media, podcasters, and you must go out there and explain your platform. But
I agree. I think now more than ever, we need quite right-wing values. But again, I'm not going to say anymore, but I agree.
He doesn't want to do that also because he's afraid of the reaction, yes, of the mainstream media, and also because he cannot have a discussion right now. We don't know what he believes in right now. He's keeping secret his platform. We'll know that during the election. So now he's speaking only with slogan, and for me it's empty slogan. And you know, there's a lot of people real conservative base are not happy with him because now he's doing campaign not against the liberals but against Trump. And you must know that in Canada they did a survey before the presidential election, and 65% of Canadians said in that survey that they will have voted for Harris and the Democrats. So for Poillievre, he tried to pander to that leftist electorate and try to have their support. By doing that, you know, is going away from real conservative values, and the real conservative values, free market values, are not so popular today in Canada. So we need to be out there and to speak about our ideas. And that's what I'm doing as politicians.
He's exactly right. But I mind you, in what way does that have anything to do with Pierre being conservative by name only? I think Pierre is looking for a short, sweet, because then he can punch out a whole bunch of crazy policies that people can't keep up with. And while he is flooding the media in 30 days with a whole bunch of crazy over-the-top policies that he's come up with for the past 2 years, while Carney can only talk about one thing, right? The stuff that he's been talking about the whole time. Because Carney's been running a campaign the whole time and Pierre hasn't. Next on the agenda, folks, Danielle Smith. Now, guys, Danielle Smith has been all over the internet the past couple days. She has gone viral. Yesterday, she met with Mark Carney, and that is why she is today's top story. At his request, I met with Prime Minister Mark Carney today. We had very frank discussion, which I made it clear that Albertans will no longer tolerate the way we've been treated by the federal Liberals over the past 10 years. I provided a specific list of demands the Prime Minister, regardless of who it is, must address within the first 6 months of their term to avoid an unprecedented national unity crisis. Meaning, Alberta's going to split. Now, comment down below. Will you support Mark Carney if he gives you all of your winning stuff, all the stuff you ask for? This includes guaranteeing Alberta full access to oil and gas corridors to the north, east, and west, repealing Bill C-69, lifting the tanker ban off the BC coast, eliminating the oil and gas emissions cap, which is a production cap, scrapping the so-called clean electricity regulations, ending the prohibition on single-use plastics, abandoning the net zero car mandate, returning oversight of the industrial carbon tax to the provinces. I also made it clear that Alberta, as owner of the resource, will not accept an export tax or restriction of Alberta's oil and gas to the United States, and that our province is no longer agreeable to subsidize other, here's the big one, folks, and that our province is no longer agreeable to subsidizing other large provinces, there's 2 of them, who are fully capable of funding themselves. Lastly, I made it clear that the federal mismanagement of Jasper and Banff National Parks resulted in last year's tragic wildfire in Jasper and is endangering Banff, and the situation must be rectified immediately. With the federal election about to be called, I encouraged all Albertans to get involved in what is likely one of the most pivotal and important elections in our nation's history, and to support the party and candidates that have consistently advocated for freeing Alberta from federal overreach and the repeated economic attacks our province has faced from Ottawa over the past 10 years. Let's go back over that. We are going to end the transfer tax. Guys, the GDP of Ontario is $1 trillion. We don't need no frickin' money. So guys, what do you think of that tweet? Comment down below. That was some intense stuff. Are you kidding me? She is making it to whoever is Prime Minister. We need to stop subsidizing other large provinces who are fully capable of funding themselves. that means Pierre is going to be forced to stop transfer payments. And I want him to go farther as well. I want him to stop supply management and cut tariffs.
This would be just a bit of legislative housekeeping, but the amendments don't stop there. They also designate oil and gas production sites and facilities where emissions data and records are held as essential infrastructure. This amendment to the Critical Infrastructure Defense Act provides an extra tool to safeguard essential infrastructure from interference, and that includes interference from Ottawa. I would certainly hope that the new Prime Minister has taken the time to read our Constitution, and I would direct him to pay specific attention to Section 92A, which gives the province, not the federal government, the exclusive jurisdiction over non-renewable natural resource development. Alberta will continue in its pursuit of doubling our oil and gas production to meet the growing global demand for energy, and we will not let Ottawa stand in our way. We will not tolerate the continuous unconstitutional overreaches made by the federal Liberal government. Measures like the emissions cap, the net zero electricity regs, the net zero electric vehicle mandate, and the energy industry advertising ban must be stopped now.
Right from the horse's mouth, she is going hard. And she is sick and tired of it, and she is ready to go. And it sucks that I live in Ontario. And for the last story, folks, Pierre Poillievre has a press conference today in Ottawa, and a reporter asked him about Doug Ford. I was always wondering how that relationship would go. I am interested in that, so I will show you that.
There was a report saying that you'd had a conversation with your Ontario Premier, Doug Ford, to congratulate him on his win, and that you reportedly asked him for his support during the campaign, which he supposedly did not accept or was not willing to do that. So what is your version of that conversation? Why did it take nearly 3 weeks to congratulate him on his win? And why is it that we so rarely hear either of you say very nice things about each other?
Well, the report is not accurate. I did speak to the Premier, as I do with all premiers whenever they want to talk, and we talk about bringing home jobs to Canada, supporting the Ring of Fire, cutting taxes, unleashing our production, and reversing the lost Liberal decade of the last 9 years. And I'll be working with Premier Ford and all premiers across this country to bring home the country that we knew and still love, a country where hard work will get people a great life in a safe community.
Also, he actually calls out Mark Carney and says he's going to rip him off in 3 or 4 days. Guys, let's get right into it.
Mark Carney will never stand up for the working people. He will only stand up for the millionaire and billionaire global elites. That is all that he has ever done. He's only done 2 things in Canada since he came back from Europe. 1, move his headquarters out of Canada to New York, taking jobs from our country to the United States, just like Trump wanted. And 2, acting as Trudeau's economic advisor, supporting all of his policies, no matter what he tries to tell you now. But just wait, you'll see, he'll be copying my next announcement. It will be, what, about 3 or 4 days, he'll be ripping off the announcement that I made today as he pretends to support the things that I stand for 30 days before an election.
Guys, did you make it this far in the video? There is so much news to talk about. Buddy, if you liked the video and you want to follow it along through the Canadian election, please subscribe down below and leave a comment to see and leave your prediction to who's going to win. I would love to hear it.